Okay, our goal today is to be able to divide fractions using a common denominator. Now, think back to 5th grade, and you may have an awesome strategy to divide fractions. However, today I'm going to show you a new strategy that involves finding a common denominator. Okay? I am going to ask you to use this strategy for at least the next couple of days. You will be quizzed on it, so you need to know it well. And then if you decide you have another strategy that you feel like is very efficient, that's fine with me, but I really want you to have lots of strategies in your math tool belt. Got it? Got it? Got it? Got it? Got it. All right. Play a very quick game of rock, paper, scissors with the person next to you. Well, no, I'm next three. Oh, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Whoever the winner is has won the privilege to read these very short 2 sentences to your partner. So winners, go for it. Four, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at this diagram here, where we have this happy little guy who loves to do math. And we have been given the problem 1/2 divided by 1/4. So when you see a division problem in your head, you should be thinking, okay, how many sets of 1/4 are in 1/2? How many pieces that are the size of 1/4 are going to fit into 1/2? Okay, so looking at our diagram here, thanks for sticking with me. Looking at our diagram here, we have a half. You see how we have half of this circle shaded in? Okay, and we want to know how many pieces that are the size of a 4 are going to fit in. How many do you see? Show me on your fingers. How many pieces that are the size of a 4? Yeah, 2. So if we look at this, we can see one piece that's the size of a 4th, and a second piece that's the size of a 4th that fits into 1/2. So we know that our quotient, which is the answer to a division problem, is going to be 2 in that case. All right? I also want to talk to you about this strategy using an algorithm, using the common denominator strategy. Okay? So we're going to follow 3 steps here, and part of this has been done for us. We're so lucky. Okay? The very first thing we are going to do today is we're going to find a common denominator. Now between 1/2 and 1/4, Maddie, what is our common denominator? 4. Awesome. Okay? This is just like when you added and subtracted fractions. So I'm going to get a common denominator here, and you should be adding to your notes sheet as well. So I'm going to multiply my numerator by 2 and my denominator by 2. So I now have the problem 2/4 divided by 1/4. So I'm thinking to myself, how many times or how many sets of 1/4 will fit into 2/4? Okay? If you're thinking 2 right now, you're on the right track. If we had any mixed numbers at this point, we would want to change them to improper fractions. Do we have any mixed numbers? No, we don't. We got lucky today. We don't have to do that step. So now we're going to go to step 3. And we are going to divide the numerators. Now, this is the trickiest step for kids that I've seen so far today, but really, it shouldn't. So I'll go over it with you guys. So we have 2/4 divided by 1/4. Okay. Now, all we need to do here is to divide our numerators. So I'm going to circle our numerators here. They are 2 and 1. So what I'm going to do is do 2 divided by 1. Okay, if I want to write that as a fraction, I have 2 divided by 1. Remember that fraction bar means division. So my final answer here would be 2. Thank goodness, because that's what I also got when I did my diagram. Okay? Now let's talk about what that common denominator means. So I'm going to do just a separate example problem off to the side here. I want you to think to yourself, what is 9 divided by 3? So just think to yourself, 9 divided by 3. Okay. Do you all have an answer in your head? Okay, on your fingers, show me what your answer is. I love that you guys were thinking about what it was and you were showing me your answer rather than looking at the people that you going with your gut. Nice job. So if I were to have the problem, and this is just a separate example, you can write this down if you want to, it's your choice. If I were to have 9 divided by 3, okay? I'm going to write these whole numbers as fractions, so I'm going to put them both over 1. So I could also write this as 9 divided by 3. And 9 divided by 3, like I saw on your fingers, is 3. So we're just finding pieces that are the same size when we're doing this. Turn to the person next to you. I either want you to ask a question or tell them an aha that you just had.
You don't turn it into a fraction. So like you,
Just an example.
for this one.
All right, what questions do you have? Karis?
I have to figure out like how many times 1/4 goes into 1/2. What does that help you do?
That's an excellent question. So let's say this. If we could do a couple of examples. This sort of just looks like a pizza. So we have half of our pizza left. So we might want to know if we divide up the pizza into like slices that are 1/4 of the pizza, how many slices?
These strategies are like really similar. So are they supposed to be strategies that like are like partners, or are they supposed to be separate strategies?
Well, all strategies are kind of partners, that they help each other out. But this one is really based on thinking about it as a picture. And this one is if you thinking about just getting a common denominator. But I'm really glad that you're seeing the language.
So is it just like what works for you?
Yeah. And there'll be certain situations where a diagram is easier than a common denominator method. So that's why you have to have all these tools to see what's the easiest for you. Yeah, Brady?
Why do you need to find a common denominator?
Because we have to deal with the same size pieces. So just like up here, when these are both whole, because they're over 1, we're dealing with the same size pieces. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so let's go down. We're going to look at another example here. Okay? We are going to find the quotient of 2 1/4 divided by 3/4. So what we have here is we've started off with 2 1/4, and we want to divide it up into pieces that are the size of 3/4. Okay? So what we have is we took our 2 1/4 and we divided them up into fourths. And then we color-coded them to put them in groups of 3/4. So here's one group of 3/4 in green, a second group of 3/4 in orange, and a third group of 3/4 in aqua. Okay? So thinking to yourself, how many sets of 3/4 will fit into 2 1/4? And we can see that it's 1, 2, 3. It's 3 groups. Now this worked out really nicely. It may not always work out as nicely as this one did. All right? So let's use the common denominator method on this. So we have 2 1/4 divided by 3/4. The first thing we're going to do is to find a common denominator. We're so lucky that's already been done for us. Okay. The next thing we need to do is to change any mixed number to improper fractions. Jacob, do I have any mixed numbers up here?
Yes.
What is my mixed number?
2.4.
Yeah, and what would that be as an improper fraction?
9.4.
Good job. So I'm going to rewrite my problem down here as 9/4, 9 pieces that are the size of a fourth, divided by 3/4, divided into groups that are the size of 3/4. Okay? I am going to only divide the numerators here. So my next step is going to be 9 divided by 3. So my final answer will be 3. Please stay with me on these and don't go ahead. John will help us out. Okay. Talk to the person next to you. What aha moment did you have, or what questions do you have?
I wonder what if these are like different? I mean, I was wondering. It's because they wanted to show. What if there was an extra one?
4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. What questions did you guys have? Anything you want to go over before we do a bigger problem together? Yeah.
What if there were like more of like, if there was like 1/4, it was like 2 and like 3/4 or something?
2 and 3/4, so it didn't divide evenly up into like groups of 3/4. We can have fractions that are left over. And you'll see that we're going to do an example problem that's going to do that. It's an excellent question. All right, so let's look at our last example on this page. Now, you do have the work for you on your worksheet in front of you, but I'm really going to encourage you to see what you can do without looking at this sheet, what you can remember so far, okay? So, all right, we have 3.5 divided by 5/8. What is the first thing we should do? Oh, man, there are 5 grade kids, 6 grade kids. What should we do? You got it. What's our common denominator? So, what is 3 and 1/2 going to turn into? 3 and 4/8. Nice job. So we have 3 and 4/8 divided by 5/8. All right. Very brave 7th period 6th graders. What's our next step going to be, Tyler?
To turn a mixed number into a fraction.
What kind of fraction? What do we call that fraction?
Just,
It's just an improper fraction. And what would that be?
it would be 28/8.
28/8. Good job. 28/8 divided by 5/8. All right. What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? Don't get caught up on this. If you need to look at your sheet, it's step 3. Karis, what are we going to do? Yeah. So we're going to divide 28 divided by 5. So we have 28 divided by 5, which I can also write as a fraction, 28 divided by 5. And how do we turn that into a mixed number? Samantha, will you help me with that? That would be 5 and 3/5. Cool. All right.
Let's do a 3-way group stack.
So we're going to start with question number 3 on the next page. And your question was, if you have 2/3, how many pieces that are the size of a sixth are going to fit into 2/3? So I looked around and I saw that a lot of you guys were drawing circle diagrams. I'm going to draw a bar diagram just so you can see it another way. So here is my diagram. So I have divided into thirds. Does that look like thirds?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to shade in 1/3 and 2/3. My question says how many pieces that are the size of 2/3, or sorry, the size of 1/6 will fit into 2/3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this up into sixths. So these were thirds right here. And if I split each of these thirds in half, I'm going to have sixths.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
Is it 4/6?
That's a really good question. So how many pieces that are the size of a sixth fit into 2/3? Gwen, how many? 4, okay? Your answer is 4. Now I heard some of you say, oh, is it 4 or is it 4/6? Your answer, yeah.
That would make sense because it's 2/3 divided by 4/6 or 1/5, and 4/6 is 2/3.
Exactly. So there are, I'm glad you're thinking about that. There are 4 pieces that are the size of a sixth that are going to fit into 2/3. Okay, you see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. What else?
Wait, so
How many pieces the size of a sixth will fit into 2/3? And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. We would just say there are 4 pieces that are the size of a sixth. Cool. All right. Let's move over to number 4. This one we've been asked to do this using a common denominator. Okay? So, we got to find a common denominator first, right? What's our common denominator going to be? What's it going to be, everybody? 6. Okay. So let's multiply our numerator and our denominator by 2 here. So we have 4/6 divided by 5/6. Okay. What's our next step? What are you going to do next, Mary?
We are going to divide
What are we going to divide?
4 divided by 5.
Yeah, then we're going to divide the numerators. So we have 4 divided by 5, which we can just write in fraction form to be 4/5. And some of you guys are like, wait, can I just leave it like that? Of course you can leave it like that. That's your final answer. So 4/5 would be your final answer, okay? Because we just divided one numerator by the other numerator.
Wait, is pointing right to?
It is equivalent, but we're going to, because our problem was given to us in fractions, we need to report our answer in fractions.
Oh.
that always works.
Yeah, this is the common denominator
Then all of
strategy.
them. Wait, but that means we wait. So if 8 times 5 and 2 times 5, then my fraction.
You simplify.
I did.
All right, so we're going to talk about the next one, number 4, which is kind of tricky.
There's 2 number 4.
Oh, we're going to talk about number 4b. Okay, so this time we have 5½ divided by 4. Okay, so let's draw 5½ circles here. Okay, and based on our problem here, we've been told that we wanted to divide it into pieces that are the size of 4, okay? We want to divide it into pieces that are the size of 4. So, from the very beginning, we can see that we have one piece here that's the size of 4. Okay? So that's one piece there. You're so close. You're so close. So now what we need to do is we have this leftover stuff that we got to figure out what to do with. Okay? So we have these 2 pieces here, and we need to figure out what parts of a part do they represent. So this right here, when I look at this, I notice that this circle represents 1/4 of the part that we have been dealing with. Okay? Do you see how 1/4 of 4? Wait, what?
Isn't it 1?
It's one circle, but it's 1/4 of this part right here. Okay. Now, looking at this half right here, how much of a part does that represent? 1/8. Okay. So, we are trying to figure out if we are looking at a piece that is the size of 4, how many of those can fit in? Well, we know that 1 can fit in. And then if we do 1/4, which is the same as 2/8, then we do, 2/8 plus 1/8. This part right here is 3/8. So our answer for this one is 5.5 divided by 4 would be 1 and 3/8. What questions do you guys have on this one? Let's go to our last one here, which asks us to find the common denominator. Okay, you guys ready to help me with this?
Yeah.
All right. What do we have to do first, then? And what did we luck out with this time? We both have 3 in the denominator, so we're good. After we find our common denominator, Jaden, what do we need to do? No, not twice. Look at step number 2 on your sheet. Yeah, we need to change our mixed numbers to improper fractions. What is 3 2/3 going to be, Brady?
11/3.
11/3. Oh, let me switch colors. It was kind of hard to see. So we have 11/3. Isaac, what is 2 1/3? What's that going to be?
It's gonna be just, 7/3.
All right. So now, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, Owen?
You're gonna divide the 11 by 7.
Now we are.
11 by 7. So we have 11 divided by 7, which we can write as 11/7. Okay. How many times does 7 go into 11? With how many left over, ladies and gentlemen? 7 dollars. So that would be our final answer for that one.